What's up, guys? It's Chris. Sorry, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. It's like alarms don't start going off for like another 40 minutes here. Um, just wanted to come in real quick with an announcement. It's potentially somewhat breaking news for y'all I haven't seen. A manual Supra is inbound this year. And now, why am I even bothering to talk about this? Because I've talked about it a bunch already. I've made multiple videos talking about the Nissan Z, the Supra, and the whole Type R mix, and like wanting to potentially change out of the Type R. Even though recently I've started to see good tuning numbers between Home Performance and Durf Tune that are coming up with very good numbers for minor bolt-ons now. They're getting the numbers that I think I'd be happy with to keep the car. And so anyway, but still, I've been saying that the main reason why I would hold off on trading out the Type R is because I believe that the manual Supra is coming. I think it's inevitable, and it seems like they're going to be out this year. Now, apparently, this accidentally leaked on a blog site in Japan, and it started making the rounds. Apparently, Toyota had already showed off the manual prototype to dealers in Las Vegas, which I'm assuming would be at SEMA, or maybe around that time, right? There last year. So apparently, the official announcement is going to be April 28th. Now, of course, because of the fact that this shit leaked, there's a good chance that it might get scrambled a little bit. But I also think that it's kind of like a piss on your parade type deal, because the Nissan Z is rumored to be coming out like very soon as well. So, these guys, the automakers, listen to enthusiasts just like, they're not stupid, bro. They can hear all the complaints, and I'm sure that one of the biggest complaints is, besides the whole BMW package, is that it only comes in automatic. Now, I've grown to like the car's body lines and the way it sounds and its overall look so much that I'd be willing to, swallow it, bite the bullet, and buy an auto. The only thing that kind of held me off was thinking, like, I know this car is going to get a manual soon because the Type R is doing well. The Nissan Z is coming in manual, and it's got a lot of good buzz around it, a lot of hype. The Integra, despite the fact that we hate it or not, I think it may do well in sales. It's just that there's been some automakers recently that prove that the manual is not dead, that there is definitely a crowd for this type of transmission. So I'm kind of super excited. I am super excited because, apparently the announcement is supposed to be April 28th, and the production of these cars is going to go into full swing in July, and the planned rollout is supposed to be October. Now, of course, all these dates are with a grain of salt, but the fact is confirmation that they are doing it, and they are doing it now rather than waiting forever. As a matter of fact, I do believe the 2021 year is like an updated model of the Supra, the 5th gen. It's still a 5th gen, but it's like a 5th gen, like version B. It did get a big power upgrade and some other differences with it. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've watched videos on it to see exactly what's all difference between the new Supra and the previous one. But I believe the car's been out and around for a while now, so it was due for an update. And I think if they want to keep the Supra relevant, the manual needs to come, right? Simply because of the fact that, and this is something I've debated back and forth with people, the Supra hasn't really done that great in sales. Like, I think compared to its competitors, like the car, I figured would depreciate in value. And that's another thing too. Another thing that I mentioned before was that a manual version may depreciate the older generation automatics. And again, like I said, I'm not opposed to getting an auto version of this car. All my cars that are my personal cars are manual. I wouldn't be opposed to at least giving it a test drive and seeing how the responses is on the paddle shifters. Now, I know the majority of people that drive cars with paddle shifters don't even bother, but I would be interested in seeing the response time on one. And apparently, that particular transmission is supposed to be really good. I think it comes in one of the M series. Could be wrong. Don't remember too well. But anyway. I know that the stock engine, holds quite a bit of power. I think I want to say up to 800 horsepower on a stock engine, and people are making like mid 400s plus on like downpipe and tune alone. So besides the fact that it already comes faster out of the box than the Type R, like its tuning potential is much greater than the Type R. Like I think it's not common to see FK8s in the 400 range. And I think I've only seen once or twice a mention of a FK8 in the 600 horsepower range. And the last time I remember like record quarter mile times being, last time I remember, again, I haven't dug into this, It was the last time I remember was it was in the 11 second category, right? As opposed to the Supras, which are already running, like those kind of numbers out the box. I think watching a lot of side by side comparisons and drag race test videos and stuff, they're like neck and neck with cars that they were punching up in their weight class, as opposed to like the price tag and power output. Like considering that the power output for the Supras are like 330 horsepower, but the good thing is like they're not super heavy. And I think that it's one of those things where the automaker is actually sandbagging on the numbers, because people have dyno tuned or dyno tested power output of these stock cars, and they are running on the dyno at 330, as opposed to like a Type R, which is rated at like 303 for the early generation FK8s, and they come out and they come off the dyno at like 280, 270 sometimes. I've seen as low as like 279 and 283, shit like that. So it's a great car, and the more I get used to the idea of the fact that I might keep the Type R, the more settled in I'm getting to it, and I have plans this year if I do keep it. But it's cool to see that this option is going to be finally available to us, and of course that leaves other options on the table. Like I would like to see if the Supras are going to depreciate, because I've been watching to see where the price tags are, and it's still hanging around the 50K range. I want it to be lower. So there's always I want to see when the 6-speeds hit the market, how much the 6-speed is going to be, if it's going to be more expensive or cheaper. I want to see if the 6-speeds entering the market starts to lower the price tag on the older Supras that are auto, and if there's now, because the 6-speed exists as an option, you could always buy an automatic and then do the 6-speed swap later on down the road. It's always a potential. But again, it's one of those things I'm super interested in. I want to see where it goes. Also to mention too, like I know it's been a while since I brought this up, but the Nissan Z, like I've shared a bunch of pictures on my Instagram a couple months ago, and people were like, "Oh, I wonder if it's gonna actually look like that." Those pictures I was sharing weren't concepts, guys. Like the Nissan Z, and it's not the 400Z, Nissan Z, has been in advertisement, like in commercials, since like fucking a year ago, man. Like we've known what this car is gonna look like for a long time, and it does look amazing. It's a very beautiful car. I think all the way around, top to bottom, inside and out, that car looks fucking amazing. But despite the fact that the car is supposed to be MSRP'd at like 40K on the entry range for this twin turbo car, or is it single turbo? I can't remember. But anyway, this turbocharged 400 horsepower car is supposed to be right in the 40K range as a direct competitor to the Supra. And but I'm not, because of the amount of hype around this car, because of the fanfare that this car has in coming into the market, and because the fucking dealerships like to bend everybody over, I don't believe for a second that car is going to sell for 40K. So being realistic, I'm just waiting to see when all these cars debut, and like what happens like in the market, like how the market responds, and what the maybe see where the price range is next year. But I mean, in a perfect world, VHB starts making all kinds of money, and I could start paying extra on the FK8, so I can get rid of that fucking loan, so I can just own the car, and then I can not have to worry about getting rid of it. I can keep it and still get the Supra like I want, which I'd really like. Again, perfect world. But judging by this year's income versus last year, I think I made like half of my year's income I made between like March and February last year. And I guess that this is one of those things where, because of the stimulus money and all that stuff, if you got your income tax jacked, it seems that that's the case. And maybe it's just a coincidence, but this time of year tend to be strong for me. Last year I think it was just on PayPal alone, it was like 10 to 15,000 on the income side, and this year has been like barely 5,000, or maybe just above, or is it barely under 6K? It's a huge noticeable downtick. So now as far as personal updates for me, like my S2K might be going to the shop this weekend. I think not this weekend, but next weekend. This week I'm going to be putting on the last little bit of accessories I need, like the clutch and flywheel, the water pump housing, to be drop-in ready. And again, not this weekend because we're already in this week, but next week, make arrangements to get the S2K over there and get the engine back in and whatnot, and get the car running. I still haven't committed to buying injectors yet. Even on my price, I'm gonna be paying a decent amount of money, and because my workflow has been slow, I haven't committed to buying them yet. So what's most likely going to happen is I am going to have a base map uploaded on the car with the stock injectors, and normally I wouldn't even worry about break-in time or whatnot, but because I still gotta make sure I have money to tune and all that stuff. I'm gonna most likely get a base map uploaded in the car on stock injectors, drive the car around a little bit, just put a little bit of mileage on it, and then when I'm ready to tune, then go ahead and grab the injectors and go from there. But yeah, so just I guess I kind of got sidetracked a little bit there, but it's been a long time since I talked to you guys anyway. So I think it's getting to the point now where we're having like months or so in between video uploads. But again, I don't want to make videos unless I have something substantial that I really want to talk about. And I'm still planning on that CSS video, and still planning on the podcast thing. And I even thought about using this as a podcast, but anyway, we'll see. I figured that those videos are going to be like at least 30 minutes long, and I would like to break everybody off into it by eventually asking questions, or giving you guys a chance to ask me questions directly, and I'll answer them on the podcast. And that'll get a little bit more fluff into it. Plus, I also want to see about uploading to maybe iTunes or Spotify and shit like that as well. So it's not just a YouTube thing. Like to diversify a little bit. I don't even know how that works with monetary ways or monetization and whatnot. But at this point, I would just like to get it out to a bigger audience, if anything, because I think that the podcast will be a nice tool to let VH business grow, as in like be able to talk to more people in the community. It would give me an excuse to be able to talk to more people. I guess that if for the launch, it's going to be a podcast, but it's going to be me. It's going to be like Bill Burr style, where it's going to be me just kind of going off myself. So any little topics I have like this are like 10-minute little topics. I'll take 3 or 4 of those little things, put them together, and make like a little 30-minute segment. And then after I do a couple of them, hopefully you guys will start asking questions. I'll give a chance for you guys to ask questions to me, and then I'll answer those on the podcast. So potentially 45 minutes to an hour worth of content, plus you guys can ask me those repetitive questions that you love to ask me so much, and I can answer them. There, get a little bit more engagement, and we'll see how that goes. See if it grows, and then potentially even do some live streams, because I haven't done that in years. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and peace.